Hi, I'm Sam, hedgerow herbalist. Join me on these series of tutorials for Cynon Valley Organic Adventures as I show you how easy it is to forage, harvest and work with nature's own medicines, starting with nettles. When foraging for nettles, always make sure you do it on a really nice, sunny, dry day so that all the leaves are dry, and make sure you have a pair of sturdy gloves, sturdy boots and have your legs covered. Don't forage on the edge of roads or fields because they can be sprayed with pesticides from the fields, or they can be full of all the pollution from the cars. But actually an area like this, in a little bit of woodland or on the edge of a park, and you can see how healthy they all look. If anything looks really yellow, it's probably been sprayed. So always go for something like this that's out of the way, isn't covered with pollution or rubbish or pesticides. Also, this time of year, not only are the stinging nettles out, but the dandelions are. And they are another really nutritious source of vitamins. They help fight inflammation, they're a really good diuretic, they flush the kidneys out. So if you're harvesting nettles and you see dandelions coming out, you can pick them. You can actually use the petals direct in salads, or you can make infused oils with them. And don't forget to use the leaves. They make a really nice bitter, so they help your digestive system. So here we are at my patch of nettles that I tend to forage in. This is in my local woodland. I always encourage people to try and grow a little patch of nettles in their garden if they can. And we're in April now, so this is prime time for picking nettle tops. And when you're harvesting just the tops, these are just the fresh young green shoots, and you just go in and you pinch off the top 4 to 6 leaves, and you just pop them in, and you just take a few of them. A handful of them would just make a really nice cup of tea. And then if we're going in to harvest a little bit more, the nettle tops make great teas. They make these are the sort of things that you can put in your soups and stews. They're fresh and vibrant and full of all the goodness. And then if you want to harvest a little bit more, take your secateurs and you just come down and you maybe cut the top third of the nettles. Using the stalks, we're going to use all of them and dry them out. Don't worry about these are cleavers, and again they're really nourishing and full of lots of vitamins, minerals, chlorophyll, so if a few of them get in, it doesn't matter. So we're just going to cut enough that we can dry for infusions, and then getting some of those lovely nettle tops in that we can have separately for our cups of tea and our salads and our soups. Also, when we're harvesting nettles, we can harvest the roots. You want to be, they pull up quite easily because the roots are full of loads of nutritious vitamins. They're really good for inflammation. I'll talk a bit more about that when we go into processing them. So as with all of the harvesting we do, never just pull from one area and completely strip it bare. Just wander along and just take a little bit. So we've got a really good root on that one. So then also, if you wanted to grow nettles in your garden or in a pot, you could just take this home, plant it. You could cut the nettle about there, use the top half, and your roots will come up next year. So I'm just going to pull a few more. Again, making sure that's a really good root there. We've got our gloves on and got our sturdy footwear on and our legs covered. And it doesn't matter if we don't get a root, because we'll just use the top half in tea. We'll dry the middle aerial parts for making dried nettles for infusions, and then we'll use the roots as well. So this is an ideal spot for picking nettles because it's down by a ditch. Their roots have got plenty of water, and because it's still quite damp here, they pull up quite easily. And we just wander along. That's a really good root. You don't want all the mossy bits. Now we've just got back from the woods with our freshly foraged nettles. We're going to glove up again and we're going to give them a good rinse. So this time we went for roots, but we've also got all those aerial parts that we can use as well. So we're just going to give them a good wash. So we're just washing all the dirt and the mud off the roots and giving them all a good rinse. And then we'll just leave them there for a few minutes just to drain off a little bit and for any bugs and things to crawl off them. So we've let them drain off a little bit, and I've just got them here on my chopping board, and we're just going to sort through, take out any little bits that are twiggy, any bits of grass, any leaves that don't actually look like they belong there. And we're going to probably chop the roots off about there, and that's the area that we're going to keep, and then we're going to dry those out. So I'm just going to get a good sharp knife, chop those roots off. And then these are the bits we're going to dry for putting into our big nettle jar. We'll have these throughout the year for making infusions. And then the roots we will also dry, and we'll keep them separately. So this is what I dry all my herbs and plants on that I forage, and it's just a laundry dryer. And here are some nettles that I've already had drying. And underneath we've got some lemon balm that I've already dried. So what we do with this is we just take the nettles, and they might have some sting left in them, but it's very minimal. I just crumble them up and I just put them in the jar. And I'll do that till they're all gone and the jar's filled up, and then I'll hang this back up and put all our freshly harvested nettles and roots back on the area. Here's all our nettles that were nice and dry. They take probably about a week to dry. You want them hanging somewhere fairly warm. You could lay them on a tray in the airing cupboard. As I say, this is my jumper dryer, so all I'm going to do is take these ones we've just harvested and lay them out in a nice even layer, checking on them every day or so just to remove any leaves that don't look very nice, any little bits of grass that might come to light. There's no set order to doing this. Just lay the nettle tops out, and then on the bottom drying rack I'm just going to put those roots that we harvested. They will probably take a little bit longer to dry out than the leaves. As I say, the leaves should take about a week. The roots will probably take 2 weeks. You want to make sure that they're really dry, because if there's any hint of moisture in them when you jar them up, they will get full of mildew. I've shown you how to forage, harvest and process your nettles. The last stage of it is learning what we can do with them. I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about how good they are for you and the beneficial properties that they have. I'm going to have to read this bit out because there's so many, I can't possibly remember them all. They're really rich in chlorophyll, they're high in vitamin C, vitamin A, all of your minerals, magnesium, calcium and B vitamins. They're highly alkalizing, nourishing. They're great for anybody who's suffering with iron deficiency or anemia because they're really high in iron. They're really beneficial to women because it helps to replenish your iron reserves. They give energy and vitality. They're really effective to prevent and treat allergies. Asthma, hay fever symptoms, anything to do with congestion, itchy eyes, runny nose. If you start taking regular nettle tea at the start of the hay fever season, as soon as you see the nettles, it should ease your symptoms dramatically throughout the year. They're also anti-inflammatory and can help prevent and treat eczema, arthritis, joint pain and gout. And then there's a little fact here. The Rheumatoid Arthritis Foundation has found that 3 milligrams of boron taken daily can be helpful in treating rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis. A 100-gram serving of steamed nettle contains significantly more than this amount. So all round, nettles can just do you nothing but good. So the simplest way, and how I tend to take my nettles, is having your fresh nettle tops, the first 4 leaves that we've harvested, in either a teapot or a little cafetiere thing like this. And you're just going to fill it up with water. Pop your lid on, let that sit for about 20 minutes, strain it and it's ready to drink. Now here are some of our dried nettles that I had. These are what we picked the other day. had them all in my jar and the jar was full to the brim. So it's actually better if you can either chop them down or blitz them. I've got one of these bullet things, or you can put them in a food processor and it makes them much finer. But if you look, you can see how green this jug is. That's full of all the chlorophyll. That's just all the pure green energy from the nettles. And I'll use dried nettles to make infusions, and an infusion is a much stronger, richer form of the tea. Teas are nice to drink, they're really great for treating your seasonal allergies and have a cup of tea every day. But if you really want to get the benefits of nettle, you want a nice glass kilner jar, set of scales, and you want 30 grams of dried nettles to 1 litre of boiled water. And you can see why it takes quite a lot to get your 30 grams, so it's really good to keep harvesting all through the year, or through the summer for as long as you can until they start flowering. So there we go, that's our 30 grams. I'm just going to top this up with the boiled water. Pop the lid on, and you want to leave that at least 4 hours, preferably 6 to 8 or overnight. And then you strain that, and probably 2 or 3 cups a day, get you a couple of days out of this, and you can have as much of that as you like. Then the other thing I do with them is make nettle tincture. And so you put your nettle tops in a little jar, top that up with vodka, and then leave that 6 weeks in a dark place, strain it shake it every so often, and then when you strain it, you've got tincture which will keep almost indefinitely. And you can take a tincture, 20-30 drops for an energy boost in a little bit of water when you feel necessary, or as a daily tonic. And then the other way of using nettles is in your food. When you've picked them, when they're fresh, you can just throw them into soups and stews. You can make nettle soup. You can even make nettle beer. There's a really nice, easy recipe by my herbalist mentor, Susan Weed, that shows you how to make nettle beer easily. And yeah, just use them as you would spinach, really. So long as you've cooked them or you've added heat to them, it completely takes the sting out of them. So you could handle them quite easily. Those nettle roots that we harvested, they are going to dry out, and I will chop them up and I will make tincture out of them. They will go into a jar like this with vodka, or you can also keep them dry, keep them in with your dried nettles, and use them when you're making infusions as well later throughout the year. So this is just to show you how easy it is to grow nettles in your garden. I've had these in a pot now for a couple of years. And here are some starting to establish just in a little quiet corner of the garden. And then also, just to show you the difference between, you've got our ordinary stinging nettles here. I don't know if you can see all the little spikes running up and down the stems. They're the stingers full of the formic acid. From the same family, but with no sting at all. And what we call the dead nettles, or white nettles. Both can be used in herbal medicine, and both are amazing in the garden for supporting insect life and habitat. And as you can see by these ones, there's no sting to them at all. Absolutely the same shaped leaf, but completely stinger free.